The Knicks just got way better. Adding Malcolm Brogdon to the mix, he's very worth the risk in my opinion. Obviously, he's injury prone at this point in his career, but just 2 years ago with the Boston Celtics, he was the sixth man of the year in the NBA. Now you have a proven facilitator in that second unit. A guy who can consistently run the show while Jalen Brunson is on the bench. Last season they had Cam Payne, who had extreme highs but also extreme lows. Very inconsistent as a player and mainly just focused on scoring. I think Brogdon will bring a level of consistency off that bench that they have been missing for a couple of years now. I also believe he's going to elevate the bench additions. Jordan Clarkson is now going to be allowed to just really focus on scoring and off-ball play. You saw Gershon Yabusele had his best success with the Sixers next to Tyrese Maxey working in the pick and roll while he's popping to the perimeter and hitting three-pointers off the gravity of his point guard. If they can find the Boston Celtics version of Brogdon, which definitely still exists because you saw him play well in Portland. He kind of had a down year last year with Washington, but it's Washington. You're not going to be highly motivated as a veteran on that squad, and most likely you're going to take it easy. But with the Knicks, you have a chance to win the championship, so I think he's going to be highly motivated, and it turns out he was one of the best pick and roll ball handlers in all of the NBA in Boston. In that action, he was averaging 1.01 points per possession, which would put him in the 81.8 percentile, which is pretty good. And on Basketball Index, it gives you a better idea of how he is as a playmaker. Even last year, in a down year with the Washington Wizards, where they don't have a lot of talent, he graded well in the playmaking category. A's all around. The only category he has a bad grade in is passing creation quality, an estimate expected efficiency on shots created for teammates, factoring in location and other key factors. Also, he's a proven scorer over his NBA career. Now, over the past season with Washington, his three ball just kind of went away. 2.3 three-pointers attempted per game, which is odd considering the year before that with Portland, he shot 5, and then with Boston, of course, he shot 4. He also shot 28% from 3 with Washington. But overall, you could easily just chalk that up to a bad situation and, fighting through injuries all year. I expect him to be back to where he was in Portland, where you're shooting 40% from 3. Maybe not that high, maybe like 38%. But if I were to bet, I would assume he's going to be around the Portland and Boston 3-point percentage than the Washington, where he shot under 30%. I just don't see that happening again. He's also a really good driver. So rim shot creation on Basketball Index, a rating indicating a player's ability to self-create shot attempts at the rim. He was graded A+. 7th out of 554 qualified players. That's pretty insane. And as a finishing talent, very good as well. A-. So consistently, he's creating buckets for himself, getting to the basket, and also he's consistently finishing. And despite injury after injury to his lower body, he's still a solid defender. So last year, he actually took on tough matchups defensively for the Wizards. It turns out matchup difficulty, he was graded A-. He had a ton of success as an ISO defender and also solid navigating screens. He's not going to create turnovers or get you a ton of steals, but he's going to be in the right spot. He's going to compete defensively, and most likely he's not going to get blown by consistently. He doesn't play an aggressive style of defense either, because if he did, most likely he would get cooked due to his old age. So he's going to play risk-free defense, keep the ball in front as much as he possibly can. And don't forget, he is listed at 6'4". He's used to guarding point guards and shooting guards, so you can get away with having Jalen Brunson on the court next to him if you want to. And in Boston, because they have a switch-heavy scheme, he was even guarding small forwards at times, and more often than he did in Portland and Washington. Overall, I think he's going to be a great addition for the two bigs of the team, Karl Anthony Towns and Gershon, both stretch fives. I mean, he complements them perfectly. He can operate the pick and roll, and also he's a very good driver and finisher at the rim, and they like to pop to the perimeter. He has experience playing with this type of player. Al Horford, very similar offensively. He likes to pop on most screens. It turns out Al Horford and Malcolm Brogdon in 555 minutes when he was with Boston had 121.2 offensive rating. That's actually his best offensive rating in terms of two-man lineups while he was on the Boston Celtics. That just goes to show he's very lethal next to a pick-and-pop big. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, it's totally realistic that injuries kind of just ruin his season because he is 32 years old and he has a ton of injury history, and you saw that affect his play last season. Overall, though, it's worth the risk in my opinion. It's not like they're paying him big money. It's a 1-year contract and it could go really well. So I think it's a good move. Let me know your thoughts below though.